welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome if you're new. I'm Cheryl, this Table Full of Joy, and friends, we are in the middle of a heat wave around here and it's horrible. We have been up 105, 106 almost every single day for the last couple of weeks, and I'm done with it. I am so tired of the heat. So tonight, hubby and I are going on a little adventure when he gets home from work. I'm packing up our dinner. We are headed to the beach. We live about 45 minutes from the nearest coastal town to us, which is Florence, Oregon. So we're gonna head to the coast. It is 64 degrees and sunny and beautiful over there right now. So we're gonna head over there. We have a great little beach that we can get to. We're gonna go have our dinner on the beach tonight, hang out where it's a little bit cooler for the evening, and then come home. So friends, come along with us. Let's make some low carb things for us to bring, for us to have for our dinner tonight. And then we're gonna pack up and head to the beach. So I'm making 3 recipes tonight. Making one is gonna be more like a little sweet dessert to bring with us. And then I'm making 2 kind of wraps. They are, one of these is what they call a sub roll. So this is all meat with cheese and pepperoncinis, little tiny bit of lettuce in the middle of it just to give you some texture. And I will put a little bit of cherry in there, or not cherry, but cherry tomato. I think what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna make this more like a grinder kind of. So I'm gonna take this chopped up lettuce, the pepperoncinis, the little bit of tomato, and put a little bit of red wine vinegar, some olive oil, kind of make this more like a grinder type coleslaw that goes in a grinder sandwich. It's gonna be delicious. I also just finished cooking some bacon in my air fryer because I did not want to heat up my house. So I cooked some bacon. We're gonna do some bacon, tomato, like a salad kind of that goes in a lettuce boat. They're gonna be delicious. And then I'm packing some nuts just for some extra protein and some waters, and we're gonna go have a great time on the beach tonight. Cannot wait to just get out of the heat for an evening. Even if it's just for a few hours, it's been ridiculous around here. The heat has been horrible. I don't know about where anywhere else in the country, but around here in the Northwest, it's been awful. So let's get these made really quick so we can move on with our bacon lettuce wraps. And then we're gonna get on with our delicious dessert that I'm gonna make last. I'm gonna put these in some little containers, just enough for us to bring, each of us to have a little bit, and it's gonna be fantastic. So I had my deli do 6 slices of, this is provolone, I had to think. This is salami, this is pepperoni, and this is some turkey. And the turkey is gonna be the outside base. I could have used ham, but I was more in the turkey mode this morning, so that's what I got. So that's what we're gonna use. So if you wanna do these, by all means, use whatever your favorite meats are. But I'm gonna get these laid out. I'm gonna do 4 of these because I think 2 of these is gonna be big enough portion, especially since we have the lettuce wraps as well. I don't think we need a ton of these. So I think if I do 4 of these, 2 a piece, that's gonna be absolutely enough for us. So there's 2. It looks like I can only get 2 on my board at a time. So we're gonna do 2 at a time. If I can get this separated. All right, I'm gonna set this turkey aside for a second. And I think we're gonna go ahead and do let's do our salami next. So I'm gonna do 2 kinds of meat and then the cheese in the middle, and then we'll put our little bit of salad kind of. Well, you know what? I only had her give me 6 pieces. So I think I'm gonna have to make just 3 of these, and hubby and I will have to have 1.5 piece, which that'll be fine. Not gonna be a big deal. I think 1.5 is more than enough with the other stuff. I'm okay with that. So let's do the rest of this salami real quick. Put that down. I'm glad that I just had her give me a little bit of each thing. I didn't want a bunch of this stuff in my fridge. I'm gonna get a little tiny bowl and I'm just gonna mix up, like I said, it's just enough of that salad kind of, that grinder salad to go inside the wrap itself. So I'm gonna grab my provolone cheese. And these were, yeah, so we're just gonna do 3 each because, and hubby and I will just share one of them. Because she did really thin slice on the provolone, which is okay. These are gonna pack up beautifully in a little container, put them in our cooler bag. These are gonna be delicious at the beach tonight. All right, I also grabbed some prosciutto and some pepperoni. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna make our little salad that goes in the center, and then these are done. If I can get this open. They always make these things so hard to get open. All right. All right, so I'm gonna put 2 pieces of this prosciutto. I have glass containers that I'm going to pack these in, and we'll put them in our cooler bag. I will post a copy of all the recipes that I'm using, even though I am deviating from them just a little bit, doing kind of my own thing. But I'll leave the original recipe in the description box, and you guys can follow it if you want to, or like me, you can do your own thing, because that's what I'm doing. So, all right, so I have our pepperoni. So instead of having ham on the outside, we're basically having prosciutto inside. And before I move on to the little salad that we're gonna put in the center of this, I'm gonna go wash my hands really fast. All right, to save myself a little extra work, I'm gonna just use my homemade ranch dressing instead of making the actual dressing for the grinder sandwiches. I'm just gonna add a little bit of red wine vinegar to this dressing. Like I said, I'm not making a lot of this. That's part of the reason why I'm just gonna use what I already have on hand, which is this homemade ranch dressing. I'm gonna put a little bit of red wine vinegar in here. I'm gonna put just a little bit of Parmesan cheese in that dressing before we put a little bit of lettuce in there, a little bit of tomato, and that's where I'm gonna call it good. So let's grate up a little bit of this parm. And then I'm just gonna use the same bowl for our bacon ones, because essentially I'm using the same salad dressing. We're just gonna make it a little bit different. All right, so there's that. Let's grab some lettuce and some tomato. Let's see, I'm gonna try 2. And see, these are gonna be perfect for those bacon boats. All right, I'm gonna cut this in half. Running out of room on my cutting board, but we're just gonna cut it. Gonna put a couple of pepperoncinis in here. And then this is going to be ready for us to fill these, roll them up, and put them in our container. I love how easy these were. Super quick. All right, there's the lettuce. Grab a couple of these, just using these little sweet cherry tomatoes. Probably, whoops, 3 or 4, I think, will be enough. Let's cut this one now that it's already got some dressing on it. I'll cut it back here. We want some little tiny bites of tomato. I'm excited about these. I think they're going to be delicious. Like I said, we're going for nice, cool food tonight for our little road trip. Put a little bit of pepperoncinis in here. And then that's going to be our little salad that's going to go inside our little wraps. All right. My jar is almost empty. I'm going to drain it real quick. All right. Rest of the pepperoncinis in there. Stir it up, and then we're going to go ahead and fill this. Like I said, it's kind of like a grinder almost, with all of kind of the same flavors in there. It's going to be delicious. All right, so I'm going to just split this between the 3. I'm going to put it in the center, and then we'll wrap it. Like I said, I'm going to use the same bowl because we're using almost the same ingredients. So I'm going to just start rolling these up. And there's our little sub wraps. I'm so excited about these. I think they're going to be absolutely delicious. All right, let me grab a bowl or a container, my glass container. That'll fit 3 of them in here. See, look, friends, it was meant to be to have 3, because if I had done 4, I couldn't have got them in there. There they are, ready for the beach. All right, these are gonna go in the cooler bag with some ice. They're ready to go. All right, so like I said, I'm using the same bowl, essentially the same kind of recipe for the bacon ones. So we're gonna grab some more of this ranch, put it in here. Instead of Parmesan cheese though, we're using some cheddar cheese and our lettuce. I'm gonna leave 4 of these out that have some substantial, like that's got a good boat. Want a good boat on them. That's got a good boat. And that's got a good one. I'm gonna do 3, just like the other. I think 3 is gonna be plenty. But I am gonna chop up some of this lettuce, some tomatoes, some bacon, trim off the ends. And we're just gonna go ahead and shred it. All right, let's put that in there. I think we can probably do a couple more, because I want to be able to fill those boats up. I want them to have a little bit of substance to them. So we're essentially using kind of the same ingredients, but we're doing them a couple different ways to give us 2 different flavor profiles. So there's that. I've got our bacon. So I have 4 pieces of bacon. I'm just going to give this a really good chop. I don't care about the pieces being fairly good size. I'm okay with that. Hot. Just came out of the air fryer. This specific bacon wrap, the dressing was mayonnaise, sour cream, onion powder, garlic powder, a couple of other things, and essentially what I have already in my salad dressing. So I'll leave a link in the description box for that video if you guys want to check out the recipe for the salad dressing that I made. So now we're going to do some more tomatoes. These I don't think we have to cut quite as small. I think we can do these just in quarters. I think that's going to be plenty fine because we have a pretty good sized boat opening on our lettuce. And these I'm going to put in a bag, and I'm just going to put the filling in the container. That way I can fill them when we get to the beach tonight for dinner, because I don't want the salad inside getting the lettuce all mushy and wet. I'd rather make them fresh once we get there. But as you can see, this is super easy. These would make great, both of these would make fantastic lunches if you're going low carb. Make your salad and put it in a container, pack your little lettuce leaves in a container for your lunch, and then just make them as you get ready to eat. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of cheddar cheese. Always trying to use fresh grated cheese if we can. I think that's probably enough cheese. So if you were serving these to somebody and you wanted to put them on a tray, you want to save a little bit of bacon, a little bit of tomato, and garnish the tops of them with it. But I'm not doing that because I'm packing mine up to bring them with us, and I'm going to just assemble them when we get over there and get ready to eat dinner tonight. Then I'll assemble them. So I'm just using my homemade ranch. I love that it's homemade ranch because I can still stick with my low carb diet, because there's nothing in this dressing that isn't in the low carb plan. It's literally just mayonnaise, herbs, a little bit of milk, and that's about it. All right, I'm gonna grab the other glass container I have, pack this up, and then all we have left to do is our little dessert. All right, so here's our salad. It's gonna go in our lettuce leaves. All right, there's our salad. Here's our lettuce leaves in our Ziploc bag. And those are going in the bag. Recipe number 2 done. All right, so I'm gonna make our little cheesecake, berry cheesecake dessert that we're bringing with us. This cottage cheese, this cream cheese is pretty soft. I'm gonna use a whisk. All we're gonna put in this is cream cheese. If you want to use regular sugar, you can. If you want to use a sugar substitute, you can do that as well. And a little bit of heavy cream. And we're gonna make our cheesecake filling. So I'm gonna do about a half a brick of softened cream cheese. I'm not a huge fan of sugar substitutes, but I can handle this one. So with that half brick of cream cheese, we're gonna do about a teaspoon. I think that should be good. Teaspoon of allulose. And now we're gonna put in a little bit of heavy cream, and we're gonna make our cheesecake type filling. And then all we have left to do is put our berries in. And it's gonna be so delicious. I am gonna put a little vanilla. I don't like using the vanilla that is the sugar-free vanilla. I'm not a fan of it, so I don't like the taste. So I just, like I said, we are not doing keto, we're doing low carb. So I'm not eliminating all sugar or carbs. I'm just being very careful. All right, so I'm gonna mix this all up. Get this cream cheese and heavy cream all mixed together. I think this is going to be so delicious tonight. Little fresh fruit, creamy cheesecake filling. This is going to be fantastic on the beach tonight. I feel so blessed that we live literally 45 minutes from the nearest coastal town to us, and I can go there basically on a moment's notice. And I'm so thankful that hubby indulges my my quick thinking like that. When I want to go to the beach, he is all for it. He didn't used to be, but he is now. He didn't used to really enjoy the beach, and now he does enjoy it. So, all right, I'm gonna see if I can. My cream cheese was soft, but not quite what it should have been. So we're just gonna mash it a little bit. Use our spatula, it'll be fine. I have to use my spatula anyway to fold in all the berries. I'm only making 2 little containers of this. Okay, I'm gonna put in some blackberries. Like I said, I'm only making 2 of these, so I don't need to go super heavy. These blackberries are ginormous and they are beautiful. One more. We're gonna do some blueberries. We're gonna do some strawberries. These strawberries are not from the farm. I have not made it back out to the farm yet. I need to, but I haven't. So I'm gonna do about 4 of these. So I'm just gonna pull out the stems real quick. I'm excited to bring you guys along with us tonight. I thought this would be super fun to bring you guys along on our little date night as we pack up our dinner and go to the beach and enjoy a delicious little picnic. So I'm gonna cut these in pretty decent sizes. I don't want them, you know, little tiny chunks of strawberries. I want big pieces of strawberry. This would be perfect for lunch if you are doing low carb lifestyle and you're wanting something sweet to put in your lunch. Sweet little treat. This would be great. Pack this up in containers. Last berry is raspberries. But first I want to get this stuff folded just a little bit before I put in the raspberries, because I don't want to break up those raspberries. I want those raspberries to still stay kind of whole. Okay, let's put in a few raspberries now. These are beautiful raspberries. All right, let's give this one more little toss, nice and gentle. All right, that looks delicious. So I have these little tiny containers, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill these up with our berries and our cheesecake filling. Oh my word, these are gonna be so good tonight on the beach. Just me and hubby hanging out, spending some time together, which is much needed. Life has been so crazy with losing 2 of our dogs in a month in June, and everything has just been a little bit nuts. I'm starting VBS next week, and that's going to be a full 2 weeks of everything, because this week we're setting up, next week it starts, so there's a lot happening. All right, there's our little cheesecake desserts. how delicious do those look. All right, friends, that's ready. Friends, hubby's gonna be home in just about 15 minutes. I'm gonna get some dishes done really quick, finish packing up our bag with all of our delicious food, and then we're gonna hit the road. We'll see you on the road over to Florence. Hi friends, it is Tuesday morning, and I have to tell you what happened last night. So hubby got home and I told him I changed my mind about going up the river, and I said I want to go to the coast. We're only, like I said, about 45 minutes away from Florence. He said, great, let's do that, and let's have fish and chips. And I said, I just made all this food for us to take and have a picnic on the beach. You know, had this in my mind, perfect scenario. We're gonna sit on the beach and we're gonna have a delicious picnic together. Well, I'm glad that he decided he wanted fish and chips, because we get to the coast last night about 5:30, 6 o'clock, right around dinner time. We get there, we pull into town. It is beautiful. It is 64 degrees. It is sunny. It's incredible until we get out of the car. And I'm talking wind like you would not believe. It was so windy over there. I was like, oh my goodness, thank you that you thought about doing fish and chips and not bringing, because we never would have been able to sit on the beach last night and had dinner. There's no way. There was way too much wind. We would have had sand everywhere in our food. We would have ended up sitting in the car and trying to eat dinner. So we went to our favorite little spot. We normally go to this place because they have an outdoor seating area where we can bring our dogs with us and they can hang out. They usually have water bowls out for them and that kind of stuff. They have dog treats and things. And so we usually go to this place and sit on the dock and look at the water and have a delicious dinner. But it was so windy over there that their outdoor seating area was closed, and they had the umbrellas down because of the severe wind. It was windy. I mean, it was super, super windy. I will post a couple pictures at the end of this video for you guys. I took a picture of us in front of the American flag that is outside their restaurant, and literally my hair is completely going the other direction. It was so windy. So I'm thankful that hubby decided that. It was not a complete loss, because I just looked at this as we had meal prepped for lunch this week. So I sent one of those sub rolls in my husband's lunch this morning with him, with his cucumbers and his cottage cheese and his yogurt and his fruit and all the things that he takes. I have some for my lunch today. The bacon salad in the lettuce wraps that we're gonna have last night, we're gonna have those tonight for dinner. That's gonna be amazing, because I had forgotten. We have Vacation Bible School coming up this next week at our church, and we are doing True North as the theme. My husband is loaning them his his kayak, not his yacht, his kayak. He's loaning them his kayak and a crab pot. And so we have to drop those at church, so now on the way to the pool, which means it's gonna cut things short for us. So this is gonna be dinner ready. And all we have to do is make these wraps and sit down and enjoy a delicious dinner with some fruit. And then we are off to church to drop the stuff off, and then off to the pool to do our class. And then we're gonna save this for the fruit cheesecake. We're gonna have those tonight when we come home. Special little treat when we come home. I think they're gonna be delicious. So I will bring you guys along tonight when I make the lettuce boats for our dinner before we head off to the pool. And then when we get home tonight from the pool, we will have the berry cheesecake things, and I will bring you guys along with that. I'll let you guys see what we think of those, what hubby's reaction is to those. But right now, I'm gonna eat one of these sub rolls because I think they sounded fantastic. I think they're gonna be absolutely delicious. So I have one on a plate here. I actually have a bunch of fruit left over from doing our fruit things last night, the cheesecake things. So I'm gonna have a little bit of fruit. I'm gonna have this, and I'm gonna have some nuts. I've got some cashews and pistachios, that kind of stuff. So that's gonna be my lunch for today. I am perfectly okay with that being a last minute thing we had to change. And I am so thankful that hubby suggested having fish and chips at the restaurant, because like I said, there's no way we would have been able to sit outside last night. It would not happen. That's the one thing about the Oregon coast, you have to be prepared. When we left here, it was 98 degrees here in town, in the valley. And we were getting ready to leave, and I just instinctively, because we're going to the coast, I grabbed a sweatshirt, and I am so thankful that I did, because hubby didn't grab one. We get over there, and the wind was so chilly that he was like, I'm kind of cold. And I'm like, well, you should have grabbed a sweatshirt, but I did. So we got in the car to come home, and I had to stop and take my sweatshirt off because I knew I was going to walk back into an oven when we got back into the valley. So I'm going to give these a bite. I'm going to taste these for you guys. let you know what I think of these. I think these are gonna be delicious. These are gonna be super easy meal prep for lunches if I have the leftover stuff still. But I'm out of the pepperoni and things, but I can get more of that. But I think these are gonna be delicious for meal prep for him for the week, for his high protein portion of his lunch. So let's give these a taste. Oh wow. These taste just like the grinder sliders, which you don't have the bread. And I love that I can have all that flavor, because that is truly my favorite flavor of a sandwich. So I'm gonna go enjoy this. I'll see you guys this evening. We put together our lettuce boats for our dinner tonight before we head off to the pool. Give you guys a look at those put together and let you know what we think of the flavor of those. And then, yeah, I'm gonna get on with my day. We have company coming this weekend, and my husband's brothers are coming, and one of my sister-in-laws, and we're gonna have a big family dinner on, or actually a family brunch on Saturday. So I'll bring you guys along with me when I make the brunch foods that I'm taking up there. And yeah, we have a busy weekend, a busy next week, a busy this week, and so I need to go get some things done. So I'll see you guys this evening. Hi friends, welcome back to the kitchen. We are getting dinner going tonight. It is Wednesday. I'm bringing dinner to hubby at church, and it's been a crazy busy day. I'll tell you about that in a second, but I have literally been on the go since 8 o'clock this morning, and I am exhausted. So we're gonna do a really quick, easy recipe. Hubby saw this one. This recipe is on Pinterest. They do serve it over rice. We are not doing ours over rice. We're doing ours with a bunch of vegetables, just because you guys know we're going low carb. It does have obviously some sugar in the sauce, and it uses a little bit of panko for the breading. For the meatballs, I'm okay with that because I have had almost no carbs today at all. So neither has hubby. His lunch was completely carb free. So I'm okay with a little bit of panko and a little bit of sugar for tonight. Totally fine. Let's get these meatballs made. I'm not gonna heat up my house in my oven because, friends, it is over 100 degrees here today again for, I don't know, probably the 15th day in a row. I'm done with the heat. I don't like it. I'm not a summer girl. I don't enjoy the heat. I enjoy all the beautiful vegetables and fruits that come in the summertime, but I hate the heat. So I'm gonna use my air fryer. I'm gonna cook the meatballs in here. I have 2 of these somewhere, but I can only find one. So we're gonna use a little glass dish as well, so we can cook these meatballs in the air fryer, not heat up our house. We're gonna use our skillet back there to make our vegetables. We're gonna make our sauce in this measuring cup, and it's gonna be super easy. Really quick dinner, get this made, get these meatballs simmering in that sauce, and then I'm off to feed hubby at church. So let's get these meatballs put together real quick. So I have a pound of ground chicken. We're gonna put in a little bit of fresh ginger. I love the ginger in the tube. If you haven't tried this, it's incredible. They also have garlic like this, and I love it. So we're gonna put in a little bit of ginger. About that much should be good. We're gonna put in a little bit of soy sauce. I'll leave the recipe down below for you guys if you wanna read the recipe and follow it exact. I'm not. I'm gonna eyeball it. We're gonna put a little bit of onion powder. I'm not adding any extra salt to this tonight because I'm putting the soy sauce in it, but if you are not sensitive to salt, by all means, add some salt to it if you want to, but I am not. So a little garlic powder, onion powder, and we need some crushed pineapple that we drained. Let's see if I can get the lid out of here now. So only about a 1/4 cup. I drained it as well as I possibly could, but you know how that goes. All right, so there's our crushed pineapple. We're gonna put in a little bit of panko, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get in with my hands and do this. I think it's easier. So I'm not gonna go super heavy with the panko. I think that's gonna be plenty. Probably way less than what the recipe calls for. I'm gonna take my rings off because I don't want to get ground chicken in there. Move this to the side. Got my pans right here, so they are ready for me to put meatballs in. We're just gonna get in with our fingers and get this all mixed up. And then I think I'm gonna use my little scoop to portion these out, just to make sure that I get even sizes on all of them. Hubby would be happy if this had, you know what, I think I will put just a tiny bit of jalapeno in here, just a little bit. Not a lot. It'll flavor it. You know what else we can put in here? It would be delicious. I have the dehydrated bell peppers. Put in a few of those. Just a couple of pinches. These are just plain red and green bell peppers. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get this mixture mixed up. And then I'm gonna give my hands a quick wash because I'm gonna use my scoop to get these meatballs formed. These are gonna go in the air fryer. We're gonna get our sauce mixed up in our measuring cup, get our veggies chopped up in our skillet so they can start sauteing. And this is gonna go together really, 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 really quick, which is what I need tonight. Because like I said, friends, it is hot here and I am just not loving this heat. We have had severe fire danger all around us. Thankfully, nothing here directly. And we have not had any smoke, which is nice. All right, so I have my big scoop. And we're just gonna portion these out. I will have to dirty my hand up just a little bit just to form them, but it's fine. See how many of these meatballs we can get on these trays. I was looking for some fresh jalapeno because I wanted to put some fresh jalapeno in the meatballs, but my store was completely out of fresh pineapple or completely out of jalapenos, and the pineapples were horrible. They were solid green and hard as a rock. So I knew they would have no flavor and that wasn't gonna work. So I skipped on the fresh pineapple, missed out on the jalapenos. So we're just gonna go with dehydrated. And if you don't like the heat, then by all means, friends, don't use the jalapenos. Stick with the recipe the way it was written and just use it that way. I'm making these pretty substantial meatballs only because we are serving them as a main dish, and we're just having them with vegetables, no rice. But if you're gonna do rice, you can make them smaller, whatever size meatballs you want. All right, there's our meatballs. We're gonna get these in the oven or in the air fryer. There's one pan, and then I have 3 right here. Put those in the air fryer. We're gonna get our sauce made and then move on to our veggies. All right, we're gonna get started on our sauce. I'm doubling the sauce recipe just because we want a little extra sauce. So we've got a half a cup of pineapple juice that was from our cans. Cannot find my teaspoon, so we're gonna put in 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. We're gonna give that a really good whisk before we put anything else in here. Got 4 tablespoons, or roughly 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm gonna put in some soy sauce. Put in a little bit of ginger. A little bit of onion powder, garlic powder. No salt, just because we've got the soy sauce in there. I don't want to overpower things with salt. All right, let's get that mixed up. So I didn't want to put crushed pineapple in my veggies, so I have a can of pineapple chunks, and that's what I'm going to add to this, just so we have some chunks of pineapple. All right, we've got that all mixed up. Let's get our veggies. We're just doing some bell peppers and some broccoli, and that's all the veggies we're doing. I'm just going to take off the edges. And I think I'm gonna cut this into some chunks. I normally do strips, but I think tonight we're gonna have some chunks of bell pepper in this. I think that'll be something a little bit different. Let me get rid of those seeds. If you want to do this with rice for your family, by all means do rice. We are just trying to really watch our carb intake. Rice is not something that I have to have, so I'm not super worried about it. But I do want some veggies with these meatballs. So we're just going to cut these up into chunks. Cut off some broccoli florets, and then we're going to head over to our skillet, get these things started sauteing up, and then I'm actually going to add my meatballs directly to the veggies, and then we'll add our sauce in and let our sauce and our pineapple start to thicken up and coat those meatballs, and then dinner's done. I love how easy and quick this is. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these bell peppers in here, just get them off my board. Make some room for some broccoli. You can use whatever kind of veggies you guys like with your Asian-y type dishes. We just happen to like broccoli. Bell peppers, if you want more bell pepper than that, by all means use more bell pepper. So I'm going to cut these down into some smaller pieces. Hubby doesn't like big huge chunks of veggies. He loves veggies, he just doesn't like big huge chunks. And they will cook down a little bit. And I think I'm going to use this entire big bunch of broccoli, whatever you call it. I can't even think of the word, I'm so tired. So speaking of how my day has gone, I got up this morning, went to the pool, did my 2 morning exercise classes that I've been doing now for, I think, going on 5 weeks. I've been pretty consistent, except the 1 week that we lost our boy dog. I took that week off. So I have been pretty consistent with going to the pool, doing the classes and all that. And so I did that, came home, got ready for the day. I had to go to work for a little bit, came home, did a little bit more work, and then had to go meet hubby real quick, go to the grocery store. It's just been nonstop. So, all right, here's our broccoli. Our peppers are over there. Let's head over to the skillet. Here's our bell peppers. Broccoli. I'll cut up some green onions in just a little bit. So we're gonna get these going in a little bit of oil, get those sauteing while our meatballs, the meatballs are looking fantastic, by the way. Let this cook for a few minutes. We'll come back and put our meatballs in, add our sauce, and dinner's gonna be done. All right, friends, you can see our veggies are looking fantastic. Here is our meatballs out of the air fryer. So I'm gonna make a little well, kind of right here in the middle, kind of move those veggies around a little bit. And I'm gonna put all of my meatballs, they are, pretty sure they are mostly done. We're gonna cook them for just a few minutes in with the sauce. I love how easy and quick this whole thing was. Super, super simple. Not really heating up my house, which is nice. We're just kind of fitting them in wherever we can get them in the pan. All right, got all of our veggies here. I'm gonna go ahead and pour my sauce in. Give it one more quick whisk. I'm also going to put in some of this canned pineapple chunks. So I really want some extra pineapple in this. A lot of juice in there. I'm gonna grab these tongs. I'm just gonna grab some pieces. I don't know a kid that wouldn't love this. This would be so delicious over rice. Like I said, we're not doing rice though. All right, you go ahead and move this around just a little bit. And I think I am gonna add a little bit more of this pineapple juice from this can. So I definitely want to have enough sauce on these so that it's going to cover these veggies, really cover the meatballs. Okay, so my temperature is way down on low. We're going to let this sit here and simmer for about 5 minutes or so. I just want to get the meatballs finished, cooked all the way through, make sure the veggies are done and everything's ready. But isn't that delicious looking? Look at that, friends. Wow, so excited for that. Friends, here it is. Gonna garnish with just a little bit of green onion on top for a little color, a little taste. We're gonna give this a little bit of a taste. I want to taste just the meatball by itself without anything else. You can see, done all the way through, nice and golden. Smells good. Friends, that's delicious. That is so good. Wow. All right, I'm gonna go scarf this, pack up hubby's ticket to church, come home, get some dishes done, and then I think I'm done for the evening. So, friends, we'll see you guys in the morning for a really fun recipe for Bible study in the morning. We'll see you then. Good morning, friends. It is Thursday. I'm getting ready for Bible study. I'm making a delicious little treat to bring the ladies for Bible study this morning. I'm actually going to make these in foil pans so that I can leave the rest of this pan at my friend's house. And I will have another pan that I can take to church or whatever to get rid of those because I don't want them in my house. So, as I said, I typically on Thursdays, I will eat a small piece of whatever I bring just because we're having Bible study and tea and it's just something to do. So that's the only day of the week that I really allow myself to have something that is not on plan with what we're eating. So let's get these made really quick. It's a super easy recipe. They gotta bake for about 30-35 minutes, which is enough time for me to bake them and get out the door for Bible study. So let's get them done. So we're making a delicious blackberry pie bar this morning, and I'm super excited about this. We have some fresh blackberries in my freezer that we got from the farm. I have 3 cups of flour in my food processor. You don't have to do this in a food processor if you don't want to. You can totally do this by hand. I am just saving myself some time this morning, and I'm going to allow the food processor to do the work for me as far as making the dough goes. The filling is super easy. We can mix it up in a bowl really quick. So we want some really cold butter. We need a cup of cold butter along with our 3 cups of flour. And I don't need to really cut these up as if I would, if I'm making, something that I really need the stuff to work really small. This is going to go in the food processor and it's going to be fine. The food processor is going to do all the work for me this morning. The food processor really is my favorite way of making dough, whether it's pie dough or biscuit dough, anything like that. I absolutely love using my food processor because I really think that it gets it a lot smaller than I can, especially this time of year when it's so hot outside. I don't want the butter getting soft, and if I had to stand here for 10 minutes and work the butter into the flour, it would definitely get soft. So we are not going to do that. We're just going to allow the food processor to do the work for us. The ladies are excited about these this morning. I haven't found anything I don't think that I've made that they weren't super excited about, so that's always nice. I love when they're excited about everything. All right, there's the last half cup of butter. All right, I'm gonna put my lid on and we're gonna pulse this in the food processor so that we get all of that butter incorporated into our flour. We've gotten our butter into our flour. That's what I want right there. That looks perfect. All right, we're gonna put the rest of our ingredients in. I've got 1 cup of sugar. And then I need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And 1 egg. And it's gonna make our dough that we're gonna split pretty much 4 times, because I need 2 layers of dough in the bottom of my pans, and then I need two chunks that I can use to put on the top. All right, let's get the rest of this mixed up in the food processor. All right, you can see how crumbly that is, but it does pack together. That's exactly what we want. So we're gonna divide this between our pans. So I have 2 greased foil pans. I'm just going to use my teaspoon here to help me spread some of this in the, because we want a good crust on the bottom. All right, let's see how that looks. I'm going to grab a measuring cup so I can use it to press these down. So we're going to use a measuring cup just to help give us that pressure, just to get that packed down in the pan really well. I love easy desserts like this. A little bit over here, feels like a little bit low, a little bit high in the center. So here's 4 cups of blackberries. We're gonna do 3/4 of a cup of sugar. We need a little bit of lemon juice. And a little bit of cornstarch. I'll put about a tablespoon, let's go a tablespoon and a half, just to be on the safe side. We're gonna mix all this up together. I'm just gonna use my tablespoon to toss these together. I want to get all the blackberries coated with that lemon juice, that sugar, and our cornstarch before we distribute these. And then we're going to finish putting our topping on it, and they're going to be absolutely delicious. Okay, so there's our blackberries. I'm going to move my other, I'm going to scoop this little bit of sugar that I spilled on the counter. All right, got both my pans with our dough in it. We're gonna equally distribute the blackberries. And I'm just gonna use my hands to do this because it's gonna be a little bit easier, a little bit quicker. I wanna make sure I get them evenly distributed. I want these to have lots and lots of blackberries in them. There's a little bit of sugar down here at the bottom of the bowl, but that's going to be fine. We're going to just equally distribute that amongst the blackberries. soon as we get them all put in our pan, we'll just use my hands and I'll equally distribute it. I am going to put these both on a baking sheet just in case the blackberries kind of boil over a little bit. I don't want them to do that. All right, so just go around and kind of make sure you have them all nice and nestled down in there, that each pan has a good amount of blackberries in it. Want everybody to have some blackberries. All right, let's keep the rest of my sugar and cornstarch and just kind of sprinkle it over the top of the blackberries. It'll help them thicken while they're in the oven. We have the rest of our dough mixture. We're just going to sprinkle this over the top. This is what's going to make the topping on our blackberry bars. These are going to bake at 375 for about 30 to 35 minutes. You could substitute if you're not if you don't like blackberries, or if you're not a fan of those, you could also substitute raspberries for these. You could do blueberries if you wanted to. I think pretty much any kind of fresh berry, summer berry would be super good in these. So that butter is gonna melt, and as the butter melts, it's gonna mix with that egg, and that's gonna make our topping. All right, I think that's enough. All right, we're gonna put these in a 375 oven. We'll see you guys in about a half hour. All right, friends, it is actually afternoon now. The blackberry bars took a lot longer to bake this morning than I thought they were going to. I figured splitting the recipe up into 2 smaller pans instead of a regular 9x13, they wouldn't have taken as long to cook, but they really did. They took almost 45 minutes to get done. And so, but they were fantastic. Everybody at Bible study loved them. This is what they look like. This is the pan I still have with me. I took the one pan to my Bible study leader's house. I left it, the rest of them with her. Her daughter came home for lunch and said it's actually one of her favorites that I've made so far. So these were really, really good. I did have a little small piece, just a little tiny piece, and wanted to try it. And I do agree, they are super, super good. I think these would be great with any kind of fruit, whatever kind of fruit you enjoy. Peaches, cherries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, whatever your favorite fruit is, or even in the fall time, putting some apples in there, I think would be fantastic. So these would be great. I am going to keep this recipe around because I think I will make these again throughout the year. I think it would be a great little snack. So anyway, that is going to be the end of this video. The recipes that I share with you. Sorry that it was kind of a hodgepodge and lots of different things in it. This last couple of weeks has just been rough. And so I'm just trying to maintain and make it through, but things are going to get better. And, we're just trying to function right now. So anyway, this weekend we have family coming in from out of town. My husband is the oldest boy of 4 boys, and his baby brother lives here where we live, and then he has a brother that lives in California and one that lives a couple of hours south from us. And so the 2 middle boys are coming here, and all of us are going up to the youngest brother's house for brunch on Saturday with the family. Everyone's getting together. It's gonna be super fun. My sister-in-law are splitting the menu, and we are each making some food. So I'm gonna bring you guys along with me in another video with the stuff that I'm making to bring for family brunch. And then also on Sunday, we have Serve 101 at our church, and I'm making lunch to feed everybody. So I'll bring you guys along with me on that. You guys can see what we're doing there. And I have a bunch of food prep to do this weekend also, because I have VBS next week. If you guys aren't familiar with what that is, VBS is Vacation Bible School. Our church does it every single year in the summertime. We open up our church. We invite all the kids that want to come, and they come and hang out and they get to dance and sing songs and play games and learn and just all kinds of super fun things. So I'm volunteering with VBS like I do every single year. Hubby doesn't get off till 3:30. We have to be at the church at 4:30, and so that gives me an hour to get us fed and get out the door. So I need to do some meal prep this weekend to make sure that I have everything ready to go for next week for our dinners. Make sure I have his lunches all ready to go. Make sure that I have my stuff ready to go to eat when I come home from the pool. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I typically do an evening class. But because of Vacation Bible School, I won't make it. So I looked on the schedule. They do have open pool times at a different time during the day. So I'm gonna slip in there, do some walks and laps, do some other exercises, go sit in the hot tub and make sure that I'm staying on top of that while I'm in the middle of a crazy week, that I don't slip on those 2 days. So that's just gonna make my day shorter during the day when I have to go do my classes on Tuesday and Thursdays, just go to the pool in the morning. So I'm entering a very busy week, and so I need to get some meal prep done. So I'll bring you guys along with me this weekend as we enjoy family delicious breakfast or brunch that we're gonna do, and then show you guys what all the meal prep is I'm gonna do for the week. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I just really appreciate each one of you guys. I hope you guys know how much you guys mean to me. I love that you guys have supported my channel, and that means a lot to me and my family. And I hope that you guys will consider to do that. Consider sharing my channel with your friends and family if you think what I'm doing here is something that they would enjoy, something that you think they would enjoy watching, seeing what I'm doing. If you think the recipes are something that they would enjoy making, please share that channel with them. That is how my channel grows, is by you guys sharing it. So make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up. If you guys like the videos or like the recipes that I shared today, give it a big thumbs up for me. YouTube does like to see that for the algorithm. And also leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you guys are fixing, what you guys are eating. What is your favorite summer food you're eating right now? What is in season where you're at? All the things. Let me know all the stuff. I love getting to chat with you guys in the comments, and I try to reply to every single one of those as much as I can. So please leave me some comments down below. And friends, I'm gonna go get the rest of my day going because I have a lot to do before I have to go meet hubby at church and then head to my own water class tonight. I don't want to miss that. So I need to get moving real quick, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, and God bless.